Grammar Java. Dear students, today is my pleasure to introduce you our instructor, Kiril Todorov. Hello, Kiril.
Hey, guys.
He will be leading our course for Quality Assurance Engineer manual testing. And today, you will be able to learn more about his experience, overall information about the project, and what are the certification benefits. Kiril, tell our students more about yourself, your experience, and how many years you have been working in IT industry.
Well, I have been a QA for the last 12 years, let's say, and I have been doing a lot of testing recently and in these years, and different types of tests, manual, automation tests, also functional, non-functional tests, which we'll get into in the course itself. And I have been working on different types of applications in regards to mobile web application or desktop applications. So my expertise at the moment is more in the web application department, but I'll show you all the types of application testing so that you are more aware of what could be the potential types of tests and what could be the potential problems that you face during these types of tests.
What does a software quality engineer? Why such role exists in current companies?
Well, this is an interesting question because previously, like 10 or 15 years ago, quality assurance was not that much of an important topic because most of the companies wanted to have only development, not that much of testing. And in these years, there wasn't such a role as a QA role, quality assurance role. It was more like tester role, which was only execution of tests. And now in the present, we're pretty much focusing on quality of the product, not only to deliver a product, but to deliver it with a certain quality. And this is why it's important not only to develop with the proper functionality and with the proper technology stack, but also to provide the additional quality and do the testing part, which is pretty much both of the tasks are very important. So in the last years, most of the companies are going to the transition to have quality assurance in mind and to start working in the perspective to look into the quality from the beginning of the project, not in the end. So the quality assurance role itself is evolving, and the quality assurance perspective and mindset is beginning to rise in most of the companies, and most of them are looking into solutions and ideas and types of testing, like automation, for example, to tackle such problems in the beginning, from the beginning of the software. So if we have bugs, if we have problems, we'll fix them as soon as possible. Because previously we were working with solutions with releases once a year, once every 6 months. Now we're releasing every day, every week, every month, let's say. And the time frame is pretty tight. So we need to deliver quality products with a very short time frame. This is why it's very good to have appropriate testing strategies, which we'll speak about in the course as well, to deliver these products with the quality that is needed from the customer, because no one wants to have a broken application.
Please tell us a bit more details about the course. What topics will be covered and what practical exercises will it include?
Well, the project itself, the project itself is oriented around the QA process, the so-called software testing lifecycle, which will go deep into we'll have a deep dive into this process, but also we'll look into the software development models, how we actually create the software, what are the steps, what are the procedures that we follow. So we have the different types of models that we use from the previous, like 15 years ago, to recent times, like, for example, agile development, which we'll look into in details. And after that, we'll see how the software testing lifecycle is actually included inside of the software development models. And to look into how we can create test plans, we can create test cases, we create bug reports. Also, we'll look into different types of testing techniques like black box, white box testing techniques, which will be very important during creation of the test cases. We will speak about functional, non-functional tests, test levels that we need to introduce and why we introduce them during the testing phases. And also we will have different exercises in regards to writing those test cases, executing them, writing defect reports, and also using different tools like we will mention in regards to testing web services, also to test different types of to execute performance tests as well, and to get a little bit more familiar with technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, for example. So we have all things together, the whole package, let's say, of different technologies which we need to include during our testing process.
Can you share your screen and show some examples of the exercises that students will work on?
Yep, I can share my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great stuff. Okay, so in regards to the defect part, or writing down the bugs and the defects, we're going to be using Jira as a tool, as a platform that is mostly used in regards to the bug tracking process. So we will look into what is actually happening here, like in the screen itself, the different active sprints, what is backlog, what is roadmap. We will write down our defects inside of this application. So we'll get a little bit more familiar with how we can automate our process in regards to defect tracking and what is actually the defect tracking part of the software testing process. So Jira is not only for defect tracking. Of course, it's a project management tool, and it can be used for different types of projects and products. It's especially configured for IT products and IT projects. But it could be also related to other things as well. And we'll look into the specific implementations for example, agile development, like it's mentioned here for Scrum. So we'll get in more detail what is actually all the components and how we can use this digital tool to help us in our day-to-day work. I'm a proponent for that the software development models and the things that we use as a process, they need to serve us, not only to follow some certain process, and this process won't be very productive, let's say. So this is why we use such tools as Jira to find out if it's something is productive and effective or not. So this is a good way, a good case of to look into these types of metrics and statistics and to see what are actually the important statistics and important metrics during the software testing so that we can see if we're improving or not. So Jira is one of the basic tools that we use during our exercises. Another thing that we can use in regards to the test case management part, and we'll look into the functionalities of TestRail very thoroughly. So we'll have the connection between Jira and TestRail. So TestRail is used in regards to executing test cases, to have a database of test case, to have organization of the testing process, and we'll see how the test plans that we create, the organization, the schedule that we create, we can follow up in this type of platform. So it will be easier for all the people that are included, the quality specialists, quality engineers, to be all of them, or to be on the same page, or to be aware that we actually have to execute these types of activities, let's say. So every one of you will write down test cases, execute test cases, see what are the results. This will be part of our exercise that we will have. This is part of our, let's say, project for this particular course. So we will get familiar with the process, how we can implement test case management systems, plus the project management and defect management systems to have both of the perspectives, let's say. Also, we will look into web service testing, which is very important nowadays. Everything is going microservice, everything is going in the cloud, let's say. And this is why most of the times we need to use some sort of tool which we can use to execute tests in regards to these microservices. We have a specific exercise for this one to look into what are the types of web services, to talk about SOAP, REST type of web services, and as, how we can test them, effectively, so we can implement these types of testing in our day-to-day job. Because with most of the products that we are creating, we have more and more need to have this type of testing. And this type of testing is only done via tools. The other thing that could be used for specifically for REST type of architecture or REST type of web services is also Postman. So you can see what are the difference between SOAP UI and, for example, Postman, because they have their differences, let's say, and advantages and disadvantages like everything. So we will look into this other tool that is very popular at the moment. As well, for performance testing, we can use the Apache JMeter, which is very common as well, to execute performance or load tests, the non-functional tests, let's say, for such a web service, because our web services at the moment not only have to do the functional job to execute some activity or to do some calculation, but to do it with extra load, with a lot of load on the server itself. So this is how we can use a tool, which is open source. We can use a tool to execute these types of activities. So the JMeter is widely appropriate and widely used in this manner. As well, we will speak about the front-end part. We have a little bit the deep dive, let's say, again, in the front-end for JavaScript, for the CSS, for the HTML, what is the different roles of these specific technologies, let's say, and how we can create a certain small page and how we can debug or we can test web applications effectively using developer tools from the browsers, and to pinpoint where the problem actually is. Because most of the applications that are created nowadays are web applications. They're not that much desktop applications anymore. And if they're mobile applications, there could be a hybrid model, so they will have responsive web applications as well for the mobile version. Let's say all of you know that you have a mobile version for web applications for your mobile phone. This again creates a need that we need to understand how these applications are created, how they are tested, so we can find the problems before the client does. And as well, in the end, we'll have SQL as well, because SQL is something that we need to understand and to know as a specific language and specific programming language, which will be used to check what is inside of the database, because the proper testing, from my perspective, is the testing that you can do on the different types of layers of an application. There are 3 layers. Basically, they're user interface, they're the server part, and after that, we have the database part. So the complete testing for one product is when we can test on all different layers, all different levels, not only user interface testing, because user interface testing is great, because this is the testing that is done by us as users. But this means that we can pretty much catch problems in a very late stage. So it's better to understand how this whole system works in order to create the proper scenarios, to create the proper testing, to execute the proper testing on the appropriate time, so that we can find problems before they manifest during final release testing or during execution or using of the application from the clients itself. So when we know the perspective and we understand what's the mechanism behind our application, it's easier, it's better for us to understand how we can test it a little bit better. Because for users, it's not very important to know what's behind the user interface, but for QAs, if we want to call ourselves a QA engineer, we need to know what's inside, what is actually inside of the application, and how we can test it in such a way to try to break something, to see how it works, so to improve it and to create it with better quality. So pretty much these are the technologies, let's say, or the different languages and tools that we will use. These are part of the tools, and we'll have the exercises for all of them separately.
Thank you. From your personal point of view, why should our Georgian students apply for this course? What will be the core benefits for them?
Well, in regards to the course itself, the foundation of manual testing at the moment, it's something that is important as a stepping stone, let's say a first step inside of the QA role. So when you start work in the QA department or the QA role, the quality assurance engineer, you start off with the manual testing part. So it is important to have the basics. From my understanding, it's like building a house. If you don't know how to build or create the proper schema or the proper building foundation, it won't be very easy to climb up the ladder or create a stable, beautiful house. So for the basic part, for the basics, you need to have this specific understanding or foundational understandings about how the software testing process is executed. And after that, to apply these understandings and these mechanisms and these tips to your personal project, let's say. And it's, from my understanding, it's easier to adapt or to improve the process when you understand it and when you have the understanding and knowledge. If you don't know something, you cannot know if it's good or bad. So this is why it's good to have this foundation, training. And after that, this will be something that you will step on for your future career improvement. And also, this is something that we start from when we talk about the so-called ISTQB certification, which we actually start from the foundation level. And pretty much what we will look into is absolutely corresponding to what is the ISTQB foundation level.
You mentioned that students will go for ISTQB foundation exam. Can you tell us more about this international certificate?
Well, the ISTQB certificate is the one that's, it's international. It's lifelong, let's say. You go through it once and it won't expire for you. But the main idea is that it captures all of these different topics that we will speak in the course. And it will be something that is a leverage, let's say, for development, your future development in your career. And as well, when searching for jobs, most of the times when you have an ISTQB certificate, it's something that is looked into from the HR department. So people that have this certificate, the claim is that they understand what's the basics and what the basic understanding for QA, quality assurance, is. And this is why it's, from my perspective, it's very important to attain such a certificate. I as well have this certificate and upper ones as well, because this is something that is the foundation of your future career. You can, we will speak about this in the course, you can go for different branches, let's say, for different types of testing or different specialties, but the foundation itself is there. So even if you go to automation testing in future, it's great to have the manual testing part, because otherwise you have, it will be very difficult to understand why we do the things that we do in regards to testing.
Can you tell a bit more about the exam? What kind of questions or how it looks like?
Well, the questions themselves are separated in regards to the questions that are closed questions, so A, B, C, D, like a test. And there are questions that are with open answers. So you'll have an opportunity to write down an answer with a couple of sentences, let's say, like it will be an interview for a job. Let's say it's important to have this understanding or to look into these types of questions, because for ISTQB certificate, for example, you have certain types of questions which are like tests A, B, C, D way, so closed tests. So we will prepare a lot with different questions that will be asked to provide the ability for the people that are in the course to prepare as much as possible for the ISTQB exam.
In your opinion, how this certificate will help our students in their professional career?
From my perspective, every certificate and everything that you actually invest in yourself is the best investment. And when you invest time and energy in this type of education, let's say, this will be something that will be useful in the future for your career, so that you know and understand what is the role of the QA and how we do it, and what are the best practices and the good practices that we do to improve our working process and to improve our job and to improve our products, and as well for future search for job. As I mentioned, the ISTQB certificate, for example, is something that is looked into from HR departments. It's something that's important. It's something that clearly stands out from the HR perspective or the company's perspective, that you have attained such a course, that you have the basic knowledge of the QA process, and it will be easier for you to start the job and to have start the productive career, let's say, from the get-go, from the start, in the first few months.
I will share my screen to show this is the framework of ISTQB.
Mm-hmm.
If someone asks about credibility, this is the global organization which run over 1 million exams on software quality testing. So it is definitely the global leader in software quality testing.
Yep.
And this is the foundation where we are going now with the course which Kiril will run. And for those who will continue the career in testing, there are various paths. They can go to the advanced level, like test automation, test manager. They can go also to some specialized area. And the direction after our course, it depends a bit on it depends on companies that are around you, what kind of work organization they have. Some are more agile, some are different. Some are even focused on artificial intelligence, so you can come to this still exotic subject.
Yep.
For example, in Bulgaria, we have a lot of developers in automotive industry. So there is probably over 1,000 engineers working especially for automotive software.
Yep.
So in our country, you can see some people are going for such specialization. And this is the big picture of the software quality. You can work here for many years until you decide that you may go to something else.
Yep. There's always a part, let's say, once you go in the QA department, there's always different career paths that you can attain. It depends pretty much on what you're interested in. Most of the people go to automation, and it's interesting because you have both development and also the testing part. So it's very, very interesting topic.
And, we run this software engineering quality assurance for second time. And in the last pilot phase, we have both courses, automation and manual testing. Can you tell us a bit for difference between the manual testing and automated testing?
Yes, it's an interesting topic because they're related, let's say. From my perspective, it's better to go firstly for manual testing and after that to automation, like it's mentioned in the ISTQB courses as well. This is why it's the path is like this. Because you have to have the foundation, and I have this understanding. If you want to automate something and you want to check something that is working multiple times, it is you first need to understand how it works actually manually. So you have to understand what's the mechanism, how it works, And after that, you can check it automatically multiple times with multiple tests. The main idea, the main goal for automation testing always has been to reduce manual effort. So to reduce any human manual effort that should be executed, because this way we can focus on something that we are more capable of as humans to be more creative, to test different types of scenarios that are not covered with automation. So this is what's important to have manual and automation testing as well. Both perspectives, let's say, if you want to go this path and to improve your skills in automation and to become an automation QA, it is again important to understand what's the basics of the software testing process, and after that to implement these understandings and this knowledge and to create automation tests using programming languages. But again, the basics are still the same. So some companies will have more manual testing, others will have more manual than automation, others will have more automation than manual. It's usually a mix. Some such thing as 100% automation without any manual effort. I haven't heard of such a company still, because there is additional human work and manual work that we need to do in regards to even to maintain these tests. So for sure, it will have some manual work. So it depends really much on how we deliver or how we create the product, but it will be some mix, manual with automation. So they go hand in hand. It's only automation or only manual. It has its advantages and disadvantages if you go one way or the other, the extremes, let's say, only manual, only automation. So if you apply them correctly, and we will speak about these strategies and tactics that we can use in the course itself. If you can apply them correctly, you have the best of both worlds, let's say.
Thank you. What kind of job positions are suitable for the specialists who just completed this course?
Well, for this particular course for foundation manual testing is for junior QA. Here in Bulgaria, also have intern, let's say, but junior QA is a starting position. And from starting position, after about a year and a half, you can go to regular. After that, after 2 or 3 years, it depends really much, you can go to senior position and so on. So pretty much the junior position is for year and a half, let's say, for the QA role. Really depends on the motivation part.
Can you share your story when you are in the beginning of your career? How such learning or certification initiative influenced you?
Well, it was great. I have attained the certificate it was now like 9 years, the foundation level. And it was great that previously I had even a little bit of knowledge, understanding, and have experience with another company, the first company actually that I have worked for. And this way I had a little bit of experience how the testing should be executed. And after that, I understood what is actually inside of the course for STQB course, to understood what is set inside of the let's say the different slides and different documents that we have, because there's not that much of exercises there. The course here, we are focusing also on exercise as well, but this way I got the whole picture, let's say. Previously, I had the puzzle. Let's say if we have a puzzle with 10 pieces, so something like that, and I had only a couple of pieces, like 4 or 5 pieces. Now, when I go through the course, I understand how everything should work, and I have the whole picture, the whole thing, the whole 10 pieces, let's say. So it's better, it's easier, it's you have the better understanding, you have more abstract view of a whole process, not only any particular way that you work at the moment. This is why it's important from my perspective for these types of courses to have the whole picture, because most of the times what we actually do when we don't do any certifications at all, what we actually do is start working, we execute our activities, we have some certain process that we follow, which is great, and we follow this process, but this is a specific process for this specific company, for this specific product. And after that, when we go to another company in the field, let's say, when we try to apply for a different job. This means that we have a custom tailored specification, let's say, for this process that we used to work. And for the new company, it will be totally different, let's say, or we won't understand the process. So it's better to have the whole picture and why we do the things that we do in order to provide a better quality. So these types of certifications, from my perspective, are important. This is why I have a couple of them, because you have the whole picture, you have the tools, you have the tips, you have the knowledge that is shared from the experience, from the lecturer, from the coach, because this is the best part of these types of courses. You have the experience from the person that is delivering this course. And these are different examples that are from the day-to-day life, different types of projects. And from my perspective, this is priceless. Every course that I have attained, this was the best part, let's say.
Okay. What can be the next challenges for students after they take our course?
For manual testing, specifically after that, the automation testing. And like you mentioned, for ICQB courses, after that, you can pretty much check what is most valuable for you or what's more interesting for you to specialize in performance testing, security testing, AI testing, to have this specific, to attain this specific certification. Because this actually shows that you are an engineer that has additional knowledge or specific knowledge for this particular field. So from my perspective, it's better, or it's a great way to have such mindset to use your time, or to, for example, the time that you will be on the course, to use this time for improvement in future. So for example, you use like 6 hours a week, use these 6 hours a week after that for additional knowledge, reading articles. I'll share different useful links as well during the course to improve your knowledge, to get up to date with recent technologies or recent processes, let's say. So always to be up to date, always to learn new things. If you keep this mindset or keep this velocity, it will be very helpful.
Thank you very much, Kiril, for taking time to join us today and share your vision and experience with our students. We hope that today's interview will help our audience to make the final decision whether this course is suitable for them or not. And see you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.